The Bad Batch Season 3 has gotten off to a bang with huge reveals coming at us left, right and centre. However, the true extent of these reveals regarding Omega have largely gone under the radar. So hold on to your helmets because things are getting pretty intense down on Mount Tantiss.
There is nothing of greater importance to secure the future of this empire.
And it isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Is that some kind of joke?
Now, kicking off with that bang, the latest chapter has thrown us into the deep end of Palpatine's devious schemes. And guess who's at the centre? That's right, Omega. The Season 2 final had us on the edge of our seats as Omega was snatched by the Emperor's cold-hearted crony, Dr. Hemlock, whisked away to the shadowy depths of Mount Tantiss, a cloning facility shrouded in more secrecy than the Jedi archives. Omega's fate was hanging in the balance. But don't underestimate Clone Force 99's youngest member. This girl's got more escape plans than Houdini. Just when we thought the Bad Batch would swoop in for a daring rescue, Omega flipped the script. Teaming up with Crosshair, they pulled off a breakout so slick it had Hemlock's head spinning faster than a TIE fighter in a dogfight. And here's where it gets juicier than a Meiluron fruit, folks. Amidst the chaos of their escape, Omega's genetic blueprint falls under the scrutinizing gaze of Emery Carr, Omega's clone sister. Turns out Omega isn't just special, she's the key to unlocking everything. Palpatine's grand plan, with genetic scans hinting at a connection to the Force that's probably stronger than Mace Windu's shampoo. Omega's role in the Empire's future is more pivotal than we ever imagined. So what does this mean for our heroes? Are we looking at the origins of Palpatine's dark resurrection, or is there an even bigger twist in store? One thing's for sure, the stakes are higher than the top of Cloud City, and we can't wait to see how Omega's journey unfolds. Now, Season 2 had us all theorising, faster than a pod racer on the Bunta Eve Classic. And guess what? Our suspicions were spot on. The Emperor's grand tour of Mount Tantiss wasn't just for show, it was a front row seat to the future of his dark legacy, Project Necromancer. Sounds like something straight out of a Sith holocron, right? Well, it's all about beating the one opponent no Sith has ever conquered, death itself. But hold up, Palpatine's obsession with immortality isn't a new hobby he picked up with his Empire membership card. We're talking way back in 54 BBY when he was eyeing the Night Sisters' magic like a kid in a candy store. But let's face it, zombie Sith? Not exactly the eternal reign he was dreaming of. It wasn't until we stumbled upon the Kaminoans cloning tech that the pieces started to fall into place. Now here's the tricky part. Creating a Force-sensitive clone is tougher than making the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. Midichlorians, those tiny little powerhouses of the Force, they're not something you can just copy and paste. So what's Dr. Hemlock's solution? Use the Kaminoan clones as guinea pigs for his midichlorian cocktail. Now, George actually explained midichlorians in depth before, which is important in helping our understanding of their role in the Force and the methods the Empire are actually trying to use here. Midichlorians are not just some random scientific term that Lucas made up for the prequels. They're actually based on real-life concepts and theories such as quantum physics, mitochondria, and the idea of a collective consciousness. Lucas wanted to explore the scientific and spiritual aspects of the Force and how they're not mutually exclusive, but rather complementary. He wanted to show that the Force is not just a magic trick, but a natural phenomenon that can be studied and understood.
My ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. You must feel the Force around you.
Paul Duncan brings the concept of midichlorians up, to which George replies with, "This is the cosmology. The Force is the energy, the fuel, and without it, everything would fall apart. The Force is a metaphor for God, and God is essentially unknowable. But behind it is another metaphor which fits so well into the movie, I couldn't resist it. Midichlorians are the equivalent of mitochondria in living organisms and photosynthesis in plants. I simply combine them for easier consumption by the viewer. Mitochondria create the chemical energy that turns one cell into two cells. I like to think of that as a unified reality to life, and that it exists everywhere in the universe and that it controls things. But you can also control it. That's why I split it into the personal force and the cosmic force. The personal force is the energy field created by our cells interacting and doing things while we're alive. When we die, we lose our persona and our energy is assimilated into the cosmic force. If we have enough midichlorians in our body, we can have a certain amount of control over our personal force and learn how to use it. So if midichlorians, those microscopic maestros of the Force, are like mitochondria, the powerhouses of the cell, then they likely replicate themselves too. Especially when the cell's under stress, it's like they're pumping iron, increasing with every force push and every mind trick. That's why Jedi are always training. They're not just flexing for the gram, they're actually bulking up their midichlorian count. So with that in mind, the Empire only actually needs to inject a small amount of midichlorians into the clone body, so it's likely these tests are being carried out to see if the midichlorians are settling within the new host and replicating themselves. But wait, there's also a dark side to all of this, quite literally. The Sith tap into their anger, rage and pain, which is like an all-you-can-eat buffet for midichlorians. It's a power boost with a catch. The more you use it, the more they crave it. It's the ultimate power trip, but like with any addiction, it comes with a price. There's also a risk that if too many midichlorians are injected into a clone without them being aware of how to handle them or the proper training, we could see a similar concept that was introduced in Star Wars Legends called clone madness, where the clones created with the Force literally turned mad. Now if, like me, you might be scratching your helmet thinking, why test all the clones anyway? Don't they all share Jango Fett's DNA? Well, my fellow Kaminoans, it's not just about the DNA, it's about the M count. Midichlorians, the Force's little messengers. And here's something to consider. Could it be that Jango himself was packing a high midichlorian count? I mean, the guy was more than just a pretty helmet, he was a top tier bounty hunter. Maybe it's not just skill, but something forcier in his blood. Or perhaps the Empire's not just drawing blood from the clones, they're playing galactic lab techs, possibly spiking the clones with some mystery juice in a bid to make their bodies more suitable to contain midichlorians. Now with Omega, Nala Se has been playing the long game, running tests on the clones like they're in a galaxy-wide science fair, but here's the twist, she's actually been sabotaging her own work to protect Omega. That's right, the youngest member of the batch has been under the microscope. She's not just there to be an assistant to get Nala Se to work, she's part of the experiments herself. When Emre stepped in for her daily blood work, she found out Omega's got the midichlorian compatibility that the Empire desires, and it's put her in huge danger. And this is where it really gets interesting. Omega isn't just another face in the clone crowd. Now we know she's the golden ticket in Palpatine's cloning carnival. The Kaminoans might have actually been cooking up Force-sensitive clones on the down low way before the emergence of the Empire. They may have been toying with the possibility, and when you think about it, Nala Se already knew Omega would be in trouble if the Empire got a hold of her blood, so she already knew Omega was able to do that. So perhaps she's already been injected with midichlorians back on Kamino. Omega might have actually been designed for this all along, prepped and primed with midichlorians. She hasn't shown any Force fireworks yet, but with a little meditation guidance from a Wookiee Jedi Pal Gunji, you might just tap into the Force like she's flipping a switch. Now fans have been sleeping on this, but whilst the success that is Omega has been kept a secret from the Empire up until now, we have learned that Nala Se has created a clone for the Empire with a successful M count transfer. However, the level of midichlorians were low and not at the level of the donors. Ideally, they want to match or even boost the M count in these clones to exceed the original donors' numbers. It makes me wonder, who is this mysterious clone they've whipped up? Could it be Snoke's early days, or maybe Palpatine's own clone blueprint, who turned out to be Rey's dad? And let's not forget Grogu's role in all of this. Is he the secret source to supercharging these clones with the Force? Dr. Hemlock's interest in Omega just went from to must-have, because if he can crack her code, he'll be pumping out Force-sensitive clones like a droid factory. And for Palpatine, that means coming back stronger, darker, and more powerful than ever. Omega's journey has taken a turn that's as unexpected as a plot twist in a Hutt's Tale. She's become the Empire's most wanted, much like our little green friend Grogu. If she's already been through an M-count transfer, her path is as wide open as the Dune Sea. Could she be the next Force prodigy, learning to harness its power? Maybe she'll team up with Ventress for some unconventional training, or she might just use the Force in less obvious ways like Chiru Imwe in Rogue One, feeling it rather than Force choking folks left and right. The Bad Batch Season 3 isn't just another chapter, it's actually turning out to be the glue binding the Star Wars eras together. Set in the Empire's darkest days, it's shedding light on Palpatine's cloning shenanigans that started way earlier than we thought, and Vader, he's probably not too thrilled about being sidelined in the Emperor's immortality quest either. So the plot really thickens as we connect the dots to the Mandalorian, with the Imperial Shadow Council picking up where Dr. Hemlock left off. They're not just after clones, they need the Force-rich blood of donors like Grogu. We all know Palpatine makes a comeback in The Rise of Skywalker, but the Empire's brainiacs couldn't nail the perfect clone recipe. So what went wrong? Season 3 might just spill the beans, and let's hope Clone Force 99 keeps Omega safe, or she might unwillingly contribute to some of the sequel trilogy's biggest reveals, like Rey's lineage and the creation of Snoke. So let me know, do you think Omega is Force sensitive now? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to catch more videos. I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you.